Welcome back to BT10 Set Review, Part 5, Black Cards. Again, I'm going to go over each card, which cards I think are more relevant, and what deck they'll be in, and of course, the sleepers to use in sealed. And if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more future content. Keep in mind, some sets offer more support to other colors, and black is one of those colors that, yet again, has fewer cards than the others. Starting with Monimon, this Digimon gives plus 1000 DP on all turns if this Digimon has Twilight in its traits. Simple, and support for the Skull Knightmon cards. Keep in mind Twilight is only a trait introduced for the first time in this set, meaning your older Monidamon and Knightmon related support don't have this keyword text. Moving to level 3s, Monidamon is the first Monidamon with Twilight and Cross Hearts in its traits. This Digimon on play can reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, then add 2 cards that are either black with Knightmon or Deadly Axemon in their names, or with Twilight in their traits. While this does add Skull Knightmon, Dark Knightmon, variants of Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon, this also includes the Knightmon from the Ragnalordmon starter deck. Afterwards, place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. This provides more generic searching for black, especially the Twilight crew. Sparrowmon is the only other level 3 black Digimon and can Digivolve for 0 from any level 2 Cross Heart trait Digimon. All turns, while you have a Digimon or Tamer with Cross Heart or Twilight in its traits, it gets plus 3000 DP. This Digimon has a higher than typical stat line for a Digimon with 0 Digivolution cost, and on deletion, it gets save. Lastly, it gives reboot to your Shoutmon or Mervamon as an inheritable. Reviewing over some deck lists for Shoutmon and BT10, I didn't see any lists running this card. But could it be splashable? Absolutely. Shoutmon X5 is one Digimon that utilizes Sparrowmon as part of its Digicross requirements. We'll know more once the set officially drops. Unfortunately, Mervamon does not make an appearance until BT11. Moving to level 4s, there's Skull Knightmon Mighty Axe Mode, a Digimon that lets you Digicross from Skull Knightmon and Deadly Axemon using them from your hand or battle area. And if you do, you reduce the play cost by 1 for each card placed under it. For 4 memory, this lets you play a level 4 Digimon with 2 Digivolution sources, and then you reduce it by 2. Golemon offers a cheap Digivolution option again for black, joining the ranks of Tankmon and Numamon, but with a trade-off stats and on-play costs in between. Not a whole lot, mainly because this card isn't searchable by any means. And lastly, High Vision Monidamon. This level 4 can be Digicrossed for free with 3 Monidamon. With Digicross 2, you can reduce the cost by 2 for each Monidamon placed underneath it. But other than that, this card serves no additional purpose. There's no rush element, and there's only 1 Monidamon in the set. Overall, this card is arguably my least favorite so far. On to level 5s, black gets little when it comes to effects and gets 2 vanilla level 5s in the form of Gogmamon and Assaultmon, joined lastly by the new Dark Knightmon of the set. The vanilla level 5s have varying DP stat lines, but Assaultmon is beastly at 10k DP and arguably the better one for sealed. However, Gogmamon has a cheaper on-play cost in case you brick for sealed, though there's not really much to say about either of these cards. Moving to Dark Knightmon, this Digimon has an on-play D-Digivolve 1 on one of your opponent's Digimon. If you Digicrossed with 2 materials, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 5 or less. In the upcoming BT10 format, where Shoutmon will be a very popular deck, D-Digivolving the Digicross Shoutmon will likely yield a deletion for the fact that the Shoutmon will be the bottom Digivolution source when you D-Digivolve, hence a deletion of 5 or less. All turns when this Digimon would be deleted, you return 1 level 4 or lower black Digimon from the source to your hand. Then, play the other Skull Knightmon or Deadly Axemon source from the Digivolution cards without paying its memory cost. This gives a Commandermon-esque effect that constantly has the board filled with bodies to chip into the security with. Overall, will Dark Knightmon be a competitive deck? I feel it plays more in the casual scene, but honestly I don't think it matters as long as you're having fun. But we'll know more once the set officially drops. To level 6s, there's Justimon Critical Arm and Gankumon X Antibody. Justimon Critical Arm can Digivolve from Justimon for 1. When Digivolving, return 1 card with Justimon in its name other than Critical Arm to delete one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 9 or less. Interestingly, this card makes me think of Omnimon from BT1 for the fact that you return a level 6 to do something. But otherwise, when attacking, if you have a Tamer in play, this Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon with Justimon in its name other than itself by paying 2 memory. Unfortunately, there's only Justimon Blitzarm and this card, and Excelarm is another target that doesn't appear until BT11. Is Justimon competitive? Nah, but again, it's a fun casual deck to play with. Sealed wise, you can't utilize its secondary effects, so overall, it's definitely a specific deck card. As for Gankumon X Antibody, this Digimon can digivolve from Gankumon for 1 memory. In addition, it's one big beefy blocker. In addition to when digivolving, you can play one Digimon with Sistermon in its name from your hand or trash without paying its cost. If Gankumon or you have a Sistermon in play, until the end of your turn, all of your Digimon get plus 2000 DP, and your opponent's effects can't return them to the hands or deck or reduce their DP. That's huge, considering this protects your board from everything, except standard deletion effects. And even then, you have cards like Sistermon from the starter deck that can decoy and protect Gankumon. As of right now, I think this card would play wonderfully in sealed. But in Justmon decks, it does actually see some play. But further testing will be required for me to make an actual decision. On to Tamers, there's Nene Amano, the General of Twilight. On play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 card with Nightmon or Deadly Axemon in its name, or Twilight in its traits to your hand. Place the remaining cards to the bottom. If anything on initial glance, this feels like a Taiki, but without the ability to digicross from under your Tamers. Funny enough, none of the Twilight cards have material save except Sparrowmon. What a ripoff! But, on your opponent's turn, all your Digimon with Dark Nightmon in their names, or Twilight in their traits, gain blocker. But lastly, Nene gets a random effect of, on deletion, gain 2? Like, why? Sealed wise, this card isn't too great in my opinion because there's not enough Dark Nightmon support for it. And 2, Tamer Destruction is non-existent in sealed. Dark Nightmon did top a few instances in Japan, so I will not count this card out quite yet. But the last effect still feels strange to me. Oh wait, never mind. We'll be covering why this card is good with multicolored cards and Dark Nightmon X. Which takes us to the last 2 cards for this video, Defense Plugin C and Justice Kick. Defense Plugin C lets you give one of your Digimon blocker and reboot through your opponent's next turn. But if it's checked in security, it lets you play a Digimon with a play cost of 4 or less from among 3 cards off the top of your deck. Of course you have to reveal them, but hey, that's a free body on your board. And like all plugins, you add this card to your hand if it's checked in security. Overall, I'm not too much of a fan of this plugin, but is it played? Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of speculation what you want to do with Sakuyamon. Personally, I think jamming and digivolving would be the best way to go. But for this one, I think I'd pass on it. And the last card of this set comes in at a whopping 12 memory. For each Tamer you have, you can reduce the memory cost by 1. Main effect, you can play 1 card with Justimon in its name from your hand without paying its memory cost. If you do, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the play cost of the played Digimon's play cost, or less. Play a big boy, kill a big boy. But in security, you play a black Tamer from your hand without paying its memory cost, and then add this card to your hand. The cost for this card is very expensive, and I don't think I'll be able to justify it, but like I said, after BT10 there might be another long period of time in between sets, and I'll be cooking up decks, like always. Overall, with black cards, I feel they're underwhelming for the most part. Between support for Crossheart, Justmon, and Dark Nightmon, Justimon feels more like an afterthought in this set and still needs more support. But what are your thoughts? Do you think black adds a lot or just brings up 2 new decks? What more do you want to see? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'll be moving to purple in the next video. Stay tuned, because that upload will be out tomorrow for you to enjoy. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.